Hello, we'd like to show you what we've done here at AirTech in regards to our pads, our oil soaking pads for inside the gates of the refinery, also for any kind of automotive and commercial use and in the home as well. This is our second generation. The first generation had no skin on top, and of course this is about 3/4 of an inch thick. What we've done with this one is added a much thicker barrier so that we can put it on the ground, and in the event that rocks and gravel will not poke through it, so this is very durable. On the other side, of course, we have the foam, and this is oil soaking, oil loving foam, and we feel very confident that this is what the industry is looking for. And when we say that, you have to look at the competition out there, and this is what we're up against. It's very thin, it is made out of recycled material, it is oil absorbent, and to get the same width that we have or depth, you need about 6 of these. Now they come in rolls, and they come in 5-pack such as this. We also have different products, and they come in different types of material, all the same, some a little more durable than others. This seems to be a little bit more durable than this, that can rip pretty easily. This again has plastic on it, but when you're comparing to what we have, it's again a whole different application, because again we can hold a lot more oil. We can contain that oil in there without it leaking through the bottom part, and of course we can make this anywhere from this thickness, if we like, as thin as this, all the way up to 6 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to test a couple different tests to see the difference in comparison. And the first test we'd like to do is at a 45-degree angle, where we'll pour a half a cup of oil onto each and see if it does run off, or if it does actually capture the oil before it runs off. One of the major concerns is that when oil hits these pads outside in the real workplace, they have a tendency just to run right off and get into the ground, and of course that's exactly what you don't want to have happen. Okay, what we'd like to do now is do a test at a 45-degree angle. And as you notice, our pad is a lot thicker than the single pad, so we put 6 of them together so that we could mimic and actually make a fair comparison between the two. Because I don't know how absorbent this is, and if one pad soaks up really quick, it might go to the others, and that wouldn't be fair if it ran down before it had a chance to soak all the way through. Again, we're trying to do tit for tat, so the same height, the same width, kind of the same area, and that's again why we made this line all the way across, because this pad is a little bit bigger. We want to start ours at the same point as this. As you can see, we have 2 equal amounts of oil, so again we have a fair comparison. And what we like to do is first throw it across ours, and this is again at a 45-degree angle. Now as you can see, it's soaking up before it runs down, and you can see that it gets down to roughly this point here at the lowest point, averaging somewhere in this area here, soaking the majority of it up immediately. Now we'll do the same test with theirs and see if it does the same thing. At the same angle, we'll do more oil with the same oil on there. So we do have some drips that are coming off the bottom of that one. Let's do the same with this one. We have quite a bit more oil on the bottom here than here. And we'll go ahead and continue the test. Now we have quite a bit of oil, almost a whole cup full of each. And then again, let's see what happens here when we again test it. So at a 45-degree angle, that's pretty impressive that we only have a few drops. Again, with the same pads, because it's only fair to do the same pads, let's do the same thing. Again, equal amounts. This is the end of a quart, so this will be a half a quart on each one at this point. And again, we'll go ahead and go across here with this. And as you can tell, the beautiful part about our foam is the more you use it, the more absorbent it becomes. So it becomes more and more absorbent. Now, to be fair, we'll do this one. As you can tell, it's running down fairly rapidly. You can see the difference between the flow lines in ours and the flow lines in theirs, and the amount of oil that has remained in the bucket, and it's still flowing freely. So again, with no protective backing on this, if you just had one down on the ground, you would literally be talking about the same problem. And I'd imagine if we let this sit here long enough, it would go through to the paper. A lot of pad to go through, but you can see where it's starting to. Whereas ours, again, we have a protective barrier, so it will not leak and go through. If you let it run all the way down to the corner, you can see there's quite a bit of oil in here that has run. That would hit the ground, and that would cost the refinery a great deal of money, because that would go into our water table, and of course that would be not good for us to drink. With ours, we can prevent that, even at a 45-degree angle. With a half a quart on there, we literally have 2 drops. We've used 1 complete quart here. What we're going to do is continue the test, and that means that each one of these have a half a quart of them at this point. We're going to go ahead and up the ante a bit more, and with these 2, we'll continue the test. And again, as you can see, the more we use our foam, the better it attracts. It can't even get halfway down now as it soaks it up. Our competition, on the other hand, let's see how it's doing. Again, as you can see, the flow rate on that is a lot faster, and it's just dripping right down into continually into the container. At this point, I would say that that is worthless, so we would have to get rid of it. We obviously can continue with ours. So let's go ahead and continue. And this is quite a bit more oil. If we put that on there, it would run right off, as you can see how much is there. Let's go ahead and test this again right here. And you can see at the same height still. We could do this pretty much all day long now, and it's not going to hit the bottom. Again, the more we use our foam and it gets oil, the more efficient it becomes. And to give a fair evaluation, let's go ahead and dump that on there. That's about the same amount. And let's see what happens. And let's see if it absorbs any more. And I think at this point we're just wasting a whole lot of oil. I'll tell you what, let's just do this now, because that is becoming to the point of no return. Let's just go straight from the bottle now. That's incredibly impressive compared to what we have over here. Look at the difference between what's in there and what's in here. We've already put an incredible amount more oil onto ours. Now, another test that we like to do is we like to saturate these, which I believe that one's just about to the point. We got a little bit more oil in here, might as well use it up on this. And you'll see an incredible other application for it. That's a whole lot of oil. That's a whole lot of oil. As you can see, it's just soaking it up faster and faster, and becoming more and more efficient. On the other hand, this side, just to be fair again, as you can see, it's running down at a very rapid rate and starting to drip already. It's not even a drip now, it's a run, it's a stream. This is already worn out its life we've only begun with this one. Let's go ahead and continue the test, and we'll just, again, now there's no way that much oil would come out at once, but it's nice to know that if it does come out, even at half that speed, you're going to capture it all, even at a 45-degree angle. If we're talking straight down, we can saturate this thing all day long, and we simply will capture everything that comes across. Now that it's good and primed, we can go back and forth like this, and we can use this whole quart, which we have, over 2 quarts, well, at least 2 quarts on this if you split it evenly for the 2 quarts that we used on both of these. So we have a half a gallon in there so far, and we can keep going. Now, as you can see, again, the more we use it, the more efficient it becomes. So, we've used a gallon of oil. Roughly put 2/3 of that on here. And as you can see, even if we hold this up at a 90, it does not go. Okay, we have captured the oil. Okay, nothing. So let's go ahead and turn this around. Put it here. We'll go ahead and see if, because we put so much down here, that perhaps it will start dripping. Which again, mathematically, we should have been able to pick up 2.7 quarts. So it's picking up a lot more than we even thought it would.
Did you weigh this ahead of time?
We still, 1 pound. We still are not leaking any oil this way. You can carry it around, you're not going to leak it. If you're dumb enough to carry it upside down, I suppose, it's still not going to hurt anything. It holds the oil. And that is just with a half a quart. We have that with a gallon. So if you have it at a 45-degree angle and you drop oil in there, a gallon of it, you will have a little coming out. If it comes out at that rate, if it comes out at a slower rate like it normally would, then of course you won't have a problem. Nobody gets a quart of oil in, what, 10 minutes? With that kind of leak, you got to fix it. You can't just leave something under there. So the kind of leaks that they have, this will not leak through. As you can see, it will not leak through. But with this, it's very obviously leaking through layer after layer. So this would be no good for the ground. This is as wet here as it is here. They're also claiming that you can squeeze this out and reuse it. Let's go ahead and bring it out. freaking lot of power. I don't know if I want to reuse that again or not. Doesn't seem like a whole lot of oil came out compared to what was in there. Now granted, this didn't soak up as much as ours, but it had at least a half a quart in there, if not a little bit more. That's a far cry from a half a quart. It had more drip off than squeeze out. We don't have a squeezer like we would, so let's go ahead and roll that. Now, if we have a roller, obviously we can roll this a lot better. Now that's not nearly squeezed out as much as it would with a machine, but as you can easily see, the difference is night and day.